Hey, Tim, T-Town T-shirts, back with another video here. We got a little couple tricks with needles and with label and everything on here. So stay tuned, and I'll show you some of my tricks and some of the needles I use. I'm not an expert at it, but I do very, very well in my business, and I do know when to use stuff and when not to use stuff. So let's get at it, and we'll get going here. All right, so I got the TC 1501 from Ricoma. If you need a machine, there'll be a link down in the description. I do get a little bit of commission off of it. They give me money towards buying stuff from them, so like accessories and all that type of stuff that I may need from Ricoma. So, yeah. So my number one thought today was about the video was let's label my needles, because when you're going from hats to different type of materials and stuff like that, there's different needles you can use. The standard needle is this one it? Is a 75 by 11. That's what comes with the machine. That typically is able to be used all over the place, right? You can use it on stretchy materials. You can use it on shoes, stuff like that. It's the go-to 75 by 11. And the RG is the sharp needles. And I also have titanium ones. Titanium ones, I was having a lot of needle breaks on my machine, so I bought the titanium ones to try to limit the needle breaks. In my opinion, if you don't have your hat hoop in there correctly and it's hitting this and breaking it, no matter if I have a titanium needle in there or if I have the regular sharp needle in there, it's going to break the needle. So I typically just stay with the regular needles now. I do have them as backups, but the other one is going to have, I got my little thing down here, my other one's going to be FFG/SES. Those are going to be ballpoint. They're going to put a bigger hole, even though it's the same size, it's going to put a bigger hole in the garment. They let the thread go through. So I don't use those very often, but when I do, they are. So when I'm doing flats and stuff, mostly I'm using 75 by 11. I do use 75 by 11 if I have on hats until I start having issues. Then I'll switch to an 80-12. And the 80-12 ones are a little bit thicker ones, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure they're thickened. If not, I'll put it in the description in here. But it helps go through the hats a little bit better. So one way that I do it to remember which one's in here is I got little magnets, and I just took my label printer, or I think I printed them off the printer with like a label that you would send out for UPS and stuff, and then put the number in there. So when I switch the needles out, as you can tell now, my machine number 8 has a 80-12, 11 has 80-12, 80-12, and 14 has a 75-11. I don't normally mark the 75-11s anymore, and the reason I don't mark the 75-11s because my machine is going to typically have a 75-11 in here. I'm not a person to keep 1 through 8 for hats and 9 through 12 for flats. I use it for everything. If I need to do a hat and I need white and white's in 1, which 1 is usually in the whites, I just use 1, I switch the needle out. It's pretty easy to switch the needle out. But if I do switch the needle out to an 80-12, I put it inside here, right? And if I do a ballpoint one, that's when I'm switching over now to 75-11s. So other than that, I did want to record this little video here, but like I said, if I change out the needle, I put that right there and it's magnetized inside there. As you can tell, I'll get a little bit closer here. That's how it goes. This is metal, so a little bit of magnet keeps it going. Like I said, so that needle right now in needle 14 is going to be the ballpoint, which is going to be the FFG SES needle. And I can't remember what I was doing with that, why I have that in there, but that's why that one's marked 75-11. Before I had all of them at 75-11. And I was like, well, that was pointless to have all of them in there if I'm always going to have 75-11s. And I do use the Madeira magnetic bobbin down here. I get them by the case. And where the needles come into, all the needle cases that come, they usually come like this because I buy them off of Amazon. And a little tip, these here come in whatever the pack is, 4-pack or 5-pack or 6-pack. I can't remember exactly what come inside here. It might be 10 of these. There's 10 needles in each of them, but there's 10 comes in here. That comes in this box. So I also take the needle or my magnetic bobbins, which has a magnetic on the other side, and I leave them inside here. And then my black ones, when I want to use black, my black are stored inside there. And another tip that I do, I was going to do a video, is I always have a bobbin ready to go. I see a lot of people when they run their bobbins out, when their bobbins run out, they take it out, they grab a new one, they thread it. Me, if a bobbin goes out, I take the bobbin out, I put it on my desk, I put the next new bobbin in, wait for that click, get that thing, start the machine up. Now I prep my next one. My next one goes down there for the next time the bobbin goes out. So hopefully some of that helps with your embroidery machines. Some of these tricks can go from Tajimas to Ricomas to Brothers, all that type of stuff. My big tip for today would be is the bobbins. You want to have the bobbins go through, all that good stuff. All right. So another tip that it could have is I always have my needles, both of them down here, my 8012s and my 7511s down here ready to go from whenever you need to switch a needle out. Which I did just realize that needles should be changed after about 8 hours of runtime, that type of things. I usually don't do that, but I have heard that. But with needles, if the needle end up starting to stray and all that other type of stuff, it's a good time to change out the needles. I also keep a lot of my tools down here on the board here, on here, and then I also keep all my extra needles in a carrying case, and I have them separated between the sharp needles and the ballpoint needles and my extra lighters. I don't use these lighters anymore. I typically use my torch anymore. My torch, or I will use this stretchy, the curvy one that bends, to burn off stuff off the back of the backings and foam, all that type of stuff. I like to use this on hats because when you get into hats, you can go inside and work pretty good instead of trying to go like this. These are also refillable, and you use butane to refill them up on the bottom here. So like these ones over here that I have here are not refillable, so you got to pitch these away. I have a video in a short on my channel here about filling these up. It's a really good video. This is a Flexi Flame. I get these at Big Lots, and they do go out every once in a while, but I do use these. So, okay, I think that's about it. A couple other things. My oils usually stay down here. My can of air spray stays down here. I usually spray out the bobbin case every 2 bobbins unless I'm having an issue. If I'm having an issue, I'll blow it out. I might just stop the machine and just blow it out if I'm having an issue with breaking. Another tip I have too is a lot of people have a lot of extra threads sometimes. It could be in the digitizing. Most of the time, sometimes I've noticed I had to change this plate and this had bad tension on here. So this right here, which is the cutter, grabs the thread, gets it there so it can cut. I noticed that this was sticking on mine, so I oiled this up a little bit. I think I loosened the screw up a little bit because I tightened it down too tight when I did this, but this sometimes will avoid all the extra tails when it cuts on your machine. And on the Ricoma, if you end up breaking this and you buy in another one, buy a few of them. Shipping is not the greatest through Ricoma. Especially for small stuff, they still charge you almost $20 to go from Florida to Ohio for a part that can go in a mailer for $3 or $1. So keep that in mind if you do replace this, which I had to, and they do have a video on it. I had to call customer service to get the video sent to me, but they do have a video on replacing this. It's pretty simple. A few things you got to take off, but pretty simple. But if you've been dealing with this machine, you'll be able to get a hang of switching all that out. So if I missed anything, if you have any questions, put them in the comments. Like, subscribe, share. This is another video. The Lions are at halftime winning 24-7. So I'm going to get back to the Lions game. So other than that, this is going to be T-Town from T-Town T-Shirts. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace.